Hey everyone, Michelle here from Level 28 Media, and in today's video, I'm going to answer a very popular question that I get very often, and it's, should you trust Google reps? Now, if you run Google ads for a short amount of time or even a long period of time, you've probably been reached out to by a Google rep, whether it's through a friendly phone call or through a very aggressive email trying to get you to do a free consultation with them, which is actually free, but their goal is to get you to make changes and they give you recommendations so that you can update your account so that it aligns with Google's best practices. Now, a lot of people that I have worked with in the past, even some clients of mine, have unfortunately fallen for some of these tactics where a Google rep will call and they'll sound really nice. They do actually represent Google, but they're not really working at Google. These are companies that are outsourced by Google. One of them is called T-Tech. I think it's based out of Phoenix. And there's some other ones as well that have these reps that ultimately try to get advertisers to make changes on their account. And unfortunately, I've seen some clients make changes and see some really dramatic dips in their performance because of it. And I actually had one potential client reach out saying that he made all these changes that the Google rep recommended, and he lost so much business because of it. And when he reached back out to the rep did not know how to fix it. And even calling the rep's supervisor, that rep's supervisor didn't know how to fix it either. So that was a mess. But to answer this question very briefly, my answer to this question is, if someone came to me and asked, should I trust a Google rep? My answer is no. And I have three main reasons for it. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first reason why I wouldn't trust or don't trust Google reps is they don't always know what's best for your account. What I've found with working with Google reps is at the enterprise level, when I used to work for Fortune Global 500 companies, is yes, they were really helpful. But when you're working with smaller accounts, let's say you're spending like less than $20,000 a month, which is a lot of small local businesses, is these people that represent Google don't understand your business model. So they're making recommendations, they're telling you to press this button, press that button, but that's because they're trying to meet a specific quota. If they really cared about your business, they would be taking the time to understand your business model, understand what your goals are, and tell you how, based off of those goals, they can help you get there with some specific strategies. But most of their recommendations are not necessarily strategic. They're more just click this button and you're going to have all this magic appear in your account. And unfortunately, that never happens. So take their advice with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that local campaigns, I'm not saying that smart campaigns or automated bidding is bad, but you really need to do your research and just don't take their feedback at face value, because they don't have experience running Google ads. They just work for Google, and essentially they're sales reps that are trying to get you to make changes so they can meet a quota and get a bonus at the end of the quarter. Now, the second reason why I don't recommend taking feedback or suggestions from Google reps is because Google's goal is to make more money. So of course, like I mentioned, these reps are incentivized to meet a quota to get a bonus. But did you know that Google's revenue, 97% of their revenue, the last time I checked, came from Google Ads? This is a huge part of Google's business. So it's really important to understand that we need to take Google's recommendations with a grain of salt, because a lot of their recommendations are geared towards making you spend more. And if you don't know the right levers to protect yourself, you can easily drain your budget by pressing an auto apply button, by pressing a button that will double, triple, quadruple your budget overnight. There's just so many things that these reps, the only thing that they don't recommend you to do is to spend less. It's always spend more, spend more, spend more. And I wouldn't mind those recommendations if there was a strategy behind it. But if the recommendation is just spend more, put everything in maximize conversions for your bid strategy, that doesn't make me feel comfortable because you're not even taking the time to understand my business model. So that's another reason why I don't recommend to take feedback from Google reps. And the last reason why I don't take feedback or recommend to take feedback from them is they tend to lack experience and they're just not very knowledgeable. A lot of these reps are straight out of college. This is their first job. They've never ran Google Ads before. So the fact that they've never ran Google Ads before and they're pretending like they're an expert to give you advice is really appalling. So I would say take the feedback. You can ask them to give you the written suggestions over email. And if it makes sense, then you'll apply them, but they will hound you to get you to make changes so that they can earn their credit and get their bonus. So I would say you can ask for their suggestions, make sure to consult with someone else, maybe get a second opinion on their suggestions and see if it's worth pursuing based off of that. And if they continue to harass you over email or they try to call you, of course you can block them. But what I found is, from my experience, just asking them to add you to the do not contact list is the easiest way to get them to stop contacting you. Just respond very politely, and over the last several quarters, I haven't had anyone reach out to me and try to offer me any advice because I just haven't had anything useful, at least in the last 5 years, come from a Google rep. So if you have any questions or need any feedback, feel free to reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much.